Expect that by the time the baby is awake, then the baby should have forgotten all about breastfeeding. Time I was determined, I stopped, and the next day I found myself breastfeeding again. Hi, I'm pharmacist Abimbola, and in this video I'm going to walk you through how you can wean your baby seamlessly without you experiencing any engorged breast, nor your baby becoming fussy. And guess what? This video is born out of experience. I actually used this method for my 2 kids and it worked. I never experienced any engorged breast and it was seamless. So that is what we are going to talk about today. But before then, I'd like to mention some factors that can make this journey or that can make this transition a bit difficult. First is that how old is your baby? Your baby's age can actually determine how difficult the transition is going to be. If your baby is quite young, then you may need some more time. You may need to give the baby more time. Just take it easy on yourself. Also, is your baby a picky eater? If your baby is a picky eater, that can also make the transition a bit tough. But I've got you covered because I've made a video on 7 healthy recipes that you can introduce to your kids, and I can promise you they can't resist those recipes. So check the video out. And lastly is, what is your baby's favorite food? If you don't know your baby's favorite food at this point, then you're not ready for the transitioning. You're not ready for weaning. But if you do, then let's go on. Understand that in this part of the world, some mothers make use of medications that will sedate their babies, like ciproheptadine, that will just make their babies fall asleep, and they expect that by the time the baby is awake, then the baby should have forgotten all about breast milk that the baby has been taking for about 1 year or more. I don't know where that miracle is coming from, but this video is actually inspired by a friend of mine who asked me the question. She wasn't ready to take any medication, neither was she ready to give her baby any medication for weaning. So she just called on me, and I thought to myself that this video is not just going to be useful for her. If I put it out here, it's going to help a lot of other moms, especially first-time moms and perhaps some second-time moms that have used medications in their during their first time. You don't need any medication, honestly. You just need some time and you just need some procedure. Simple. And that is what I'm going to discuss in this video today. So first of all, I need you to learn this word. Please add it to your archive of vocabularies, and the word is taper. So this method is, let me just name it tapering method. So I'll give it tapering method. This method requires you to know when you are going to wean your baby. Say you want to wean your baby at 1 year old, exactly when your baby turns 1. Then you need like 2 weeks to prepare, or you need like 2 weeks for you to completely wean your baby. You don't expect your baby to forget about breast milk in just 1 day. So the mistake most mothers make is they abruptly withdraw breast milk from their babies, and then they experience pain, and the baby is also experiencing some level of discomfort and dissatisfaction. But this method requires you to plan ahead. So what you simply do is taper the frequency of breastfeeding. I understand that midnight breastfeeding is the most exhausting, so I recommend that you opt the midnight breastfeeding first. How do you do that? You achieve that by knowing what your baby likes most, so you supplement the breast milk for what he desires or she desires most. Stock that thing. For me, my first baby, it was very easy. She woke up, she wanted to feed, and I replaced it with just water. In fact, I tried to give tea, beverage, but she rejected it. I gave her just water, and then she returned back to bed to sleep. And that was the only night. That was the last night. The next night, she slept off. She didn't even bother. And that was because, I don't know, maybe because she was a girl. But for my boy, it was a struggle, kind of. The first night, I had to excuse myself from the room. As long as he saw me, he was crying and he wasn't even taking the complimentary food until I excused myself from the room. So I don't know what method is going to work for you, but the first thing is to withdraw midnight feeding and replace it with what your baby likes best. And that may mean that you will excuse yourself from the room. Just allow the dad to do the job, or maybe the grandma or whoever is around. So once you have successfully withdrawn the midnight feeding, the next target is the daytime feeding. So how do you do that? You taper the frequency of feeding during the daytime. If you have been feeding your baby based on request, then you try to reduce it to like 3 times, maybe in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. And if you have been doing that before, you can try to withdraw the morning time, you replace it with something else too. It requires some patience from you, and it will require some level of assertiveness. So if you're not determined, you may find yourself breastfeeding the baby again. But that's not to worry. Breast milk doesn't go sour. So even if you didn't give the baby yesterday, you can still start again today. It happened to me. So sometime I was determined, I stopped, and the next day I found myself breastfeeding again. But eventually we stopped, and it wasn't a struggle by the time we were going to stop. So you just reduce the daytime breastfeeding to like twice a day, then the next like 3 days you reduce, or the next week you reduce it to once a day, and before you know it, you just stop, and your baby will not even find it um difficult to also stop. And it's going to be a win-win for the two of you, a win for you and a win for your baby. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please don't hesitate to hit that red button to subscribe, and remember to turn on the notifications so that you can get notified when next another video is ready. Bye.